we developed the program actually having looked at just witnessing firsthand children in Africa and particularly in our own country having to walk long distances to school and often with very few items. I mean, often they don't have full uniforms, they don't necessarily have shoes. And if they're in rural communities, their walk is often 20 kilometers to school and 20 kilometers home. So there's so many barriers to education. And we looked at that and thought, well, what is it that we can do in our own capacity to assist? And the school bag became the obvious idea for us. And along with school accessories, the plastic bag is like the national flower in Africa.
I had the privilege of being involved in a fringe event at COP28, again on the back of the Sustainabrand idea. And that was fascinating because really, as I said, I think in the last podcast, I mentioned the fact that I was a small player making a small difference to a big problem. And the same applied when I was in this fringe event. I was sitting amongst some heavy hitters in the sustainability space, which can be very intimidating. And I think in many respects, the subject matter is a little bit gray in some areas. And so it's been a journey of discovery and education for me mainly to understand what I was actually trying to do. Because for me, the fundamental issue was just this unbelievable amount of wastage.
Been involved with an organization called the Bateliers, where we are 200 volunteer pilots with aircraft and we serve the environment. The idea was started 25 years ago, where Dr. Ian Player, who's famous for saving the rhino, and a lady, Nora Kerr, wanted to show the impact of the open cast mining and that they weren't rehabilitating the land. And the idea came to get friends with airplanes and fly politicians and journalists to show the damage. And that flight led to later the Sanusa wetlands becoming a World Heritage Site. And the idea was born, how could we use aircraft, which have to be used in conservation, being that there are lots of social pilots that have aircraft and skill set, what could they do to give back? And for 25 years now, we do a lot of observation flights looking at the health of rivers. We move animals, we rescue animals. There's obviously poaching is a big buzzword. We deal with that. Right this morning, I was involved in a call up to move a lion. And lion we move for genetics because we fence them in so that it genetically cannot spread. And the Endangered Wildlife Trust does DNA testing and we find out the best genetics and we help spread them.